hello. What if the failure of an experiment became the most powerful weapon against an invasive species? Let's explore the crazy story of the Everglades, where seemingly harmless robotic rabbits have terrorized millions of Burmese pythons and alligators. To understand why Florida was forced to adopt a seemingly absurd solution, we must trace the disaster to its source. Burmese pythons are not native to Florida. Imported as pets in the 1980s and 1990s. Many were later released into the wild. After Hurricane Andrew in 1992, they spread rapidly across the Everglades. With an ideal climate, no natural predators, and extreme reproductive capacity, their population exploded, devastating native wildlife. As traditional hunting methods failed, Florida turned to a radically different idea: robotic rabbits. With no natural predators, an ideal climate, and abundant food sources, pythons didn't just spread. And that meant the python was no longer just a predator, it was becoming untouchable. They moved at night, stayed underwater for hours, and avoided open ground where humans might see them. In areas where they dominate, raccoon populations have declined by over 90%. Possums have nearly disappeared, and swamp hares, the cornerstone of the food chain, are on the verge of extinction. One python was found to have swallowed an adult deer whole. Another fought a crocodile to the death, both dying. This is no longer a biological invasion. This is a silent replacement of the ecosystem. Florida has tried every method to stop this disaster. Bounty hunters searched everywhere. Professional hunters tracked faint tracks. Sniffing dogs detected nothing but water and heat. But the Everglades are 1.5 million acres wide. Finding hundreds of pythons in this area is impossible. And then a bold question arose. If pythons can't be hunted, why not let them find their own prey? Pythons don't hunt with their eyes. They hunt with smell, heat, and instinct. Initially, scientists used live rabbits as bait and faced fierce opposition. An alternative was born: robotic rabbits. Artificial fur, precise body temperature, chemical scent mimicking real prey, cameras and sensors powered by solar energy. A perfect prey, designed to look harmless while watching everything. 120 robotic rabbits were released into the swamp, and science held its breath in anticipation. Initially, the plan went smoothly. Cameras captured giant pythons approaching, sniffing, and attacking the robot rabbits. The hunting team quickly arrived and captured the pythons. For the first time in years, humans felt they had surpassed nature. But Everglades wasn't giving up easily.
There we go.
By the third day, the alarm sounded not about pythons, but about alligators. They lunged from the water, crushing the robot rabbits in a single powerful bite. Dozens of robots were destroyed, millions of dollars swallowed by the jaws of the alligators. The pythons recognized the new danger and began avoiding the traps. The project faced the risk of being completely cancelled. However, in that seemingly hopeless moment, a crucial detail was discovered. Robotic rabbits weren't just destroyed. They had recorded everything: time, temperature, direction of movement, and even encounters between pythons and crocodiles. They weren't just bait, but spies. When this data was fed into the AI system, an unprecedented map emerged. Pythons don't move randomly. They utilize hidden corridors in the swamp, avoid crocodiles, and move according to a fixed schedule. The AI not only located the pythons, but also predicted their next move, turning their escape into an easily recognizable pattern. The strategy has completely changed. Humans no longer wait for pythons to fall into traps. They intercept them. Adult female pythons are discovered. Breeding nests deep in the swamps are exposed. Thousands of eggs are destroyed. In just 1 month, more pythons were eliminated than in the previous year combined. Robot rabbits failed as prey, but as spies, they became the most powerful weapon humans have ever used in this war. As someone who has spent years observing and studying wildlife, I am often asked questions about where baboons live and why they are involved in hunting in the United States. The topic of trophy hunting has been quite controversial lately, especially after the incident involving Blake Fisher, a former Idaho wildlife official. His controversial knocking down of a family of chacma baboons in Namibia sparked outrage. This leads to a question I hear repeatedly. Do baboons live in the United States? If not, why do we hear about Americans hunting them? First of all, baboons are not native to the United States or anywhere else in the Americas. These fascinating primates, known for their distinctive drooping faces and social behaviour, are found primarily in Africa. They are well adapted to their environment, eating fruits, insects, and even small animals, often storing food in their cheek pouches. You will not find wild populations of baboons in the United States. Some may wonder if baboons exist in conservation areas in the United States, and they can be found in captivity, but there are no free roaming populations of baboons here. So when people hear about Americans baboon hunting, it is understandable to wonder why this is happening if these animals are not native. The answer lies in the global nature of trophy hunting. The United States plays a major role in the trophy hunting industry, with approximately 800 to 1,000 primates, especially chacma baboons, being knocked down by hunters each year, many of them Americans. However, these hunts do not take place in the United States, but rather in African countries such as Namibia, where baboons are common and in some cases considered pests by landowners. Trophy hunting of baboons is legal under international law and is relatively cheap compared to hunting larger animals such as lions or rhinos. For example, the fee for shooting baboons in Africa can be as little as $60, 0 cents in places where they are considered a nuisance. In some cases, landowners may even allow hunters to shoot a few for free. Most baboon hunting is not an individual trip. A typical African lowland safari package costs between $3,000, 0 cents, and $7,000, 0 cents, although some budget options start at under $2,000, 0 cents. Baboons are often hunted on these trips indiscriminately, as they are not usually the primary target. This explains why Americans, who make up a large portion of the game hunter population, are often associated with baboon hunting, even though the animals do not live in the United States. Having read up on hunting practices, I can share that hunting baboons in Africa requires specific strategies due to their keen senses and skittish nature. Hunters typically use rifles with calibers ranging from .243 to 300 Winchester Magnum, paired with expanding bullets weighing 100 to 150 grains. A well-placed shot to the upper body is usually enough to take down a baboon, as they're smaller animals compared to other game. What makes baboon hunting challenging is their alertness. Baboons are notorious for their loud alarm calls, which can scare off other game if they spot or hear a hunter. The usual shooting distance is 100 to 150 yards, and hunters often set up in a blind along the baboons' regular paths between their roosts and feeding grounds. These paths are predictable, with baboons travelling out in the morning and returning in the late afternoon. Stalking them is nearly impossible. They'll bolt at the slightest movement or sound, staying just out of range. So, why the confusion about baboons in America? It likely stems from high-profile cases like Fisher's, where an American's involvement in baboon hunting grabs headlines. The outrage over such hunts often overshadows the fact that they're happening in Africa, not the US. Additionally, the accessibility and low cost of baboon hunting make it a common add-on for American trophy hunters traveling abroad. This creates a perception that baboons might be local to the US when in reality, it's the hunters, not the hunted, who are crossing borders. Wild boar and lion attacks have become a familiar story, but let's explore the real dangers behind them. On American farms, more than 6 million wild boars are ravaging the land, causing $1 billion, $500 million, 0 cents in damage each year from crop damage and soil erosion, according to 2023 USDA data. And in the grasslands of South Africa, about 3,000 wild lions conflict with communities as their habitats shrink, according to a DEF report. But indiscriminate culling or trapping risks causing further harm, including disease, imbalance, or species loss. Is there a way to stop wild boars from ravaging farms without harming other wildlife? When faced with wild boars, American hunters have adopted a modern method that combines repelling sounds with iron cage traps. These two tools are used in parallel to control the destruction of wild boars without the need for guns, helping to reduce damage to the environment and protect the safety of the community. The sound technology emits sound waves similar to the sound of predators, causing wild boars to panic and stay away from crop areas. This method not only helps protect crops but also reduces damage by up to 25%, according to a 2023 USDA study. The repelling sounds combined with iron cage traps can automatically close when wild boars enter, ensuring no harm to other animals and increasing the capture rate by up to 70% compared to manual methods. Why use this method? Wild boars reproduce very quickly, up to 6 litres per year, and they destroy not only farms, but also cause ecological imbalance. Traditional hunting cannot keep up with their reproduction rates, and the use of firearms can lead to potential hazards such as stray bullets and negative impacts on the surrounding environment. Both methods are implemented in accordance with strict legal regulations, thereby helping to protect native species and ensure sustainability. In states like Texas, it is legal to set wire traps on private land. The USDA requires that all traps be humanely disposed of, with wild hog carcasses processed into food products such as jerky and sausages, which helps feed the community. As fields give way to savannas, parallel challenges arise, but the exacting principles remain. South African conservationists manage lion populations with AI-driven monitoring, analysing GPS data, from lion collars to cull non-breeding adult males for strict control, according to DEF 2023 guidelines. Why this approach? Lions, facing shrinking habitats, threaten livestock and rural families, but uncontrolled hunting can endanger their survival. South African law prohibits captive lion hunting, enforcing ethical standards. The licensing fee, typically $50,000, 0 cents, funds reserves like Kruger, supporting anti-poaching efforts and creating jobs for local communities, according to DEF. Lion skins are crafted into sustainable products, minimizing waste. This approach helps stabilize lion numbers while protecting communities, reinforcing the lesson that technology, when used responsibly, can create harmony. The debate over lion hunting continues, with animal welfare organisations such as Humane Society International opposing all forms of hunting, arguing that it is unethical. However, South Africa has responded by making the licensing process transparent, with each hunting license requiring a rigorous monitoring process to ensure full compliance with legal regulation. To address the debate, the South African government engages with stakeholders through public forums and reports that emphasise data-driven outcomes. Poaching remains a serious challenge, however, with incidents such as the arrest of poachers in 2018 for illegally hunting 40 lions. First up, wild boars. This invasive species is the textbook definition of an uninvited guest. In states like Texas, they cause around $400 million, 0 cents in damage every year, destroying crops, tearing up golf courses, and even wrecking your backyard. In 2021 alone, Texas eliminated over 51,000 through aggressive hunting campaign. Picture this, hunters flying in helicopters, wielding rifles like the BMCX, using thermal scopes to track their targets at night. You might wonder why hunt them at night. Because wild boars have terrible night vision. making nighttime the perfect window of opportunity for hunters. Helicopter wild hog hunting has become one of the most effective tools for controlling feral hogs in Texas, where the rugged terrain makes it nearly impossible for hunters on the ground to maneuver. In the rugged mountains of Texas, pilots fly low over steep slopes and brush where feral hogs often hide. Hunters must be at least 18 years old and weigh less than 220 pounds to qualify for these airborne missions. This is no ordinary trip, requiring focus and composure. Peak season runs from November to March, when wild hog activity is at its peak. While each wild hog hunting is risky due to terrain and weather conditions, skilled hunters can take hundreds of hogs in a single day. It is a difficult wild hog hunting, but a very successful one. Let's head to Iowa, where recent floods have turned calm rivers into gator-infested danger zones. In May 2023, levee breaks released hundreds of alligators into wetlands. One even attacked boaters on Saylorville Lake, causing $20,000, 0 cents in damages.
Hit it. Yeah.
Alligator hunting in Iowa is no walk in the park. Hunters wade through mosquito-filled marshes with .308 Winchester rifles. Staying alert for sudden movement. One wrong step and you're in striking range of a 500-pound predator. The state has imposed strict rules. Valid licenses, permits, and full-day stamina are required. Trapping is key, with steel cages placed in shallow waters to capture and relocate gators. From 2021 to 2022, the population dropped from 4,400 to 3,200. All gator hunting is daytime only to avoid low visibility hazards. In Florida, lizard hunting is heating up. These giant burrowing lizards are collapsing seawalls and roads in the Miami Beach suburbs. Experts estimate they cause 30% of the structural damage in the area, costing millions of dollars to repair. Urban lizard hunting requires precision and stealth. Hunters patrol city canals with quiet .22 caliber air rifles, tracking 4-foot lizards through unstable, shifting sand. One bad step can put you right in a collapsing burrow. Not everyone supports these methods. Animal rights groups say hunting and trapping are cruel and risk fueling the illegal skin trade. They push for safer alternatives for hunters, but when lives and livelihoods are at stake, many believe action is needed. If this hunt gave you a whole new perspective on hunting, please hit that like button. Let us know if you have any trouble dealing with any of the 3 invasive species so we can help. Today we explore Australia's outback, a vast and ragged land shaped by millions of years of nature. Here, survival requires skill, respect, and an understanding of the environment. Join a veteran hunter in his 50S as he takes us on a buffalo hunt in this harsh wilderness. For these men who value hard work and tradition, this story reveals the deep connection between man and nature. The Australian outback spans more than 2.5 million square miles, a landscape of red sand plains, cliffs, and sparse vegetation formed over 3 billion years as ancient seabeds rose and eroded. Its arid climate, with temperatures often exceeding 100 to GFF, supports only the hardiest plants, like spinifex grass and drought-resistant wattle. Seasonal rains create temporary wetlands in the Northern Territory where water buffalo thrive. These wetlands, surrounded by pandanus and paperbark trees, are home to a diverse range of wildlife, including kangaroos, wallabies, dingoes, and over 200 species of birds. This ecosystem, both fragile and resilient, shapes the lives of all species, including the buffalo. This hunter is no stranger to danger. Born and raised in the Northern Territory, he has been tracking buffalo since he was a boy, learning from his father and the Indigenous elders who know the land like the back of their hands. The water buffalo, brought to Australia in the 1,820 settlers to support the first settlers, now number more than 150,000 in the wild, their heavy hooves tearing through the fragile wetlands. Dawn was breaking, tinting the sky red as the hunter shouldered his rifle and entered the brush. The air was tense, every rustle a potential threat. Buffalo were unpredictable beasts, 1,500 pounds of muscle and horns that could charge without warning. The hunter had spent years tracking these beasts and knew the dangers they posed. You know that life doesn't give second chances, and here, a single misstep could be fatal. A large hoof print, a broken branch, and a faint scent of musk on the wind would lead the hunter to the buffalo's hiding place. 200 yards away stood a lone buffalo. This was the moment when skill met instinct, where a man's worth was measured by a single strike. The hunter took a deep breath, carefully positioning himself against the wind to avoid detection. With years of experience guiding his every move, he found a solid footing. He waited patiently for the buffalo, then took clean, humane aim at the vital organs to ensure a quick kill. The victory was the hunter's. The haul told its own story. One buffalo provided up to 400 pounds of lean, protein-rich meat, enough to feed a community for weeks. As the team loaded the meat onto their worn truck, a quiet satisfaction settled over them. Later that night, around the flickering campfire, the scent of grilled meat mingled with eucalyptus smoke. The hunter leaned back, grounded by the land that gave so much. Here, taking meant giving back. The hunt was not merely about survival, it was about preservation. Buffalo numbers left unchecked threatened fragile ecosystems and native species. Controlled hunts like these, which removed 10,000 buffalo in 2024 alone, eased that pressure and helped restore balance to the land. This hunt is not only a physical challenge, but also a journey connecting people with nature, with the core values of life. So what do you think about the spirit of resilience and respect for Mother Earth in hunts like this? Have you ever experienced any challenges that made you stronger? Share your thoughts below. Cattle are snatched from farm fences, putting them at risk of serious injury. Each snatch can cost farmers $1,000, 0 cents, to $5,000, 0 cents per cow in veterinary bills or loss of livestock. Protect your herd with insulated wire, regular fence inspections and non-electric fencing to protect your valuable assets. In suburban neighbourhoods in the United States, snakes often slither into trouble near electrical boxes. Videos show them being electrocuted by wires or insect traps. Check your yard for exposed wires and use humane pest control, which is also a way to protect yourself from electrical current. Have you ever seen a snake get electrocuted? If so, comment. Wild pandas in rural China trip over electric fences, causing chaos. These 4,000-volt barriers, erected by farmers to protect crops from hungry bears, deliver powerful shocks. Attracted by easy food, they keep coming, but farmers must secure the wires to avoid harming the curious creatures. Donkeys on US farms trip over active electric fences, scream and run away. Farmers are required to inspect fences weekly for defects. After being electrocuted, donkeys need to rest and be examined by a veterinarian for burns within 24 hours to ensure recovery and protect these hard-working animals.
Good morning.
Since the 1000, 970s, birds such as ibises and eagles have been electrocuted by poorly insulated power lines in the United States. These videos show birds striking transformers, highlighting the aging of the power grid. Upgrading to bird-safe designs is critical for wildlife conservation and grid safety. Horses being electrocuted by 3,500 volt electric fences is nothing new on rural farms, which are seen every day. Footage shows neglected maintenance causing risks. Farmers rely on electric fences for containment, but ignored signs are causing accidents. Virtual fences with audible signals offer safer control, minimising harm. The air was tense, every rustle a potential threat. Buffalo were unpredictable beasts, 1,500 pounds of muscle and horns that could charge without warning. The hunter had spent years tracking these beasts and knew the dangers they posed. You know that life doesn't give second chances, and here, a single misstep could be fatal. A large hoof print, a broken branch, and a faint scent of musk on the wind would lead the hunter to the buffalo's hiding place.